Stoicism might be ruining your life and you don't even know it. Everyone's obsessed with Marcus Aurelius quotes. The Daily Stoic has millions of followers. Every podcast, every self-help guru, every Instagram motivational page is pushing Stoic philosophy like it's the cure for everything wrong with modern life. Control your emotions. Accept what you can't change. Be unshakable. But there's a dangerous side to this ancient philosophy that nobody's talking about. And the philosophy that's supposed to heal you might actually be making you sick. Stoicism is absolutely everywhere right now. Ryan Holiday built an empire on it. Joe Rogan talks about it constantly. Every entrepreneur, athlete, and influencer swears by Stoic principles. Millions of men, especially young men, are adopting it as their core life philosophy. It's marketed as the ultimate solution for anxiety, weakness, and the chaos of modern existence. Just read meditations, practice negative visualization, and suddenly you'll be bulletproof. Calm, rational, unaffected by the storms of life, but something's going wrong. The American Psychological Association has labeled modern Stoicism as part of toxic masculinity. Psychologists are seeing men use Stoic philosophy to justify emotional suppression, isolation, and harmful behaviors. Relationships are breaking down, mental health is deteriorating. And men are walking around thinking they're becoming stronger when they're actually becoming more damaged. How did a 2,000-year-old philosophy meant to create wisdom and virtue become dangerous? Here's the core problem. Modern Stoicism has been reduced to one terrible message. Suppress your emotions. Don't feel bad. Just control it. Push it down. Be rational. Men are taught that feeling sadness, fear, anxiety, or vulnerability is weakness. So they adopt Stoicism as armor against their own humanity. They think they're following ancient wisdom, but they're actually practicing emotional repression disguised as strength. This is not what the ancient Stoics actually taught. Epictetus talked about acknowledging emotions fully. Seneca wrote extensively about grief, anger, and fear, not to eliminate them, but to understand and work with them. Marcus Aurelius filled his journals with struggles, doubts, and emotional processing. They weren't emotionless robots. They were human beings who felt everything deeply and then chose their responses wisely. There's a massive difference between emotional wisdom and emotional repression. Modern interpretation has collapsed that distinction completely, and this misunderstanding is causing real damage. The health crisis is already here, but nobody's connecting it to misunderstood Stoicism. Studies have found that men who suppress emotions show higher stress hormone levels, not lower. Chronic emotional suppression is linked to loneliness, depression, cardiovascular problems, and weakened immune systems. Research shows that men who practice modern Stoic emotional control are more likely to engage in violence against romantic partners. When you bottle everything up, you don't become stronger. You become a pressure cooker waiting to explode. During the pandemic, researchers documented men refusing to wear masks or take precautions because they saw fear as weakness. They called it Stoic rationality. It was actually reckless stupidity masquerading as philosophy. Men are deteriorating mentally while convincing themselves they're fine because they're staying stoic. They look strong on the outside. Inside, they're collapsing. And they won't reach out for help because asking for support feels like failure. The damage goes deeper than health. Stoicism teaches emotional independence. Be self-sufficient. Don't need anyone. Sounds empowering until you realize humans are fundamentally social creatures wired for connection. The philosophy encourages seeking invulnerability by maximizing independence from others. But this completely undermines what it means to be human. You're not supposed to be an island. You need emotional support, vulnerability, deep relationships where you can actually share what you're going through. Men practicing modern Stoicism are becoming isolated. They can't express feelings to their partners because that's weak. They don't open up to friends because real men handle things alone. Their relationships suffer because nobody can connect with someone who's emotionally unavailable. Wives and girlfriends describe feeling like they're living with robots. Friends drift away because there's no real intimacy or reciprocity. We're seeing a loneliness epidemic specifically among men who think they're being stoic when they're really just cutting themselves off from human connection. And there's a philosophical problem too. The Stoics teach a fundamental principle: only control your reactions, not external events. This sounds wise, but it's actually a false binary that limits your agency. Life isn't neatly divided into things you control and things you don't. Most of reality exists on a continuum of influence. You can't guarantee outcomes, but you can absolutely affect them. Example, you can't control whether your wife is tired after work, but you can bring her wine, put the kids to bed, and create space for her to relax. That's influence, that's meaningful action. World peace? You can't control it, but your actions matter. Relationships? You can't control another person, but your choices shape the dynamic. Your health? Genetics play a role, but so does everything you do daily. Pure Stoicism says don't care about what you can't control. But caring about things outside your direct control is precisely what makes us human. It's what drives us to improve our communities, fight for justice, and build better futures. When you stop caring about anything you can't guarantee, you don't become wise, you become apathetic, which leads to the most uncomfortable truth. In the quest for Stoic virtue, men are becoming detached from real problems that demand engagement. Political issues evoke negative emotions, anger, fear, frustration. So the Stoic response: stop caring. You can't control politics anyway. Social injustice makes you upset? Let it go. Focus on yourself. This becomes a convenient excuse for moral disengagement, a philosophical bypass for not dealing with difficult realities. People are using Stoicism to justify complete inaction. I can't control it, so I won't feel anything about it. The philosophy meant to create virtuous, engaged citizens is creating indifferent bystanders. Marcus Aurelius was literally the emperor of Rome. He couldn't just detach from problems he didn't fully control. He had to engage, influence, lead, and try to make things better even without guarantees. Modern Stoics use the philosophy as permission to check out, to avoid discomfort by pretending nothing outside their direct control matters. And modern culture has made this even worse. Stoicism has been hijacked by groups with disturbing agendas. Jordan Peterson frames emotional control as rationality superior to feminine emotionality. Men's rights groups and red pill communities have appropriated Stoic philosophy to justify their worldviews. They've rebranded "real men don't cry" as ancient wisdom validated by history's greatest thinkers. The red pill community explicitly claims Stoicism supports their beliefs about masculinity and relationships. This distorted version teaches that control over emotions equals moral superiority, that vulnerability is manipulation, that needing people makes you weak. What was meant to free people from unnecessary suffering now causes immense suffering. Young men are adopting this as their identity and becoming emotionally stunted. They're 25 years old with the emotional intelligence of teenagers because they've been taught that developing emotional skills is weakness. They can't maintain relationships, they struggle with intimacy. They're angry, isolated, and convinced they're following the path of Marcus Aurelius when they're actually just damaged. So where does this leave us? Here's the redemption arc. The ancient Stoics actually taught vulnerability, community, and deep empathy. Marcus Aurelius wrote openly about his struggles, his doubts, his grief over losing children. He didn't suppress any of it. He processed it all in his journals. Seneca emphasized the critical importance of deep friendships and emotional connection. He wrote that the wise person needs friends, seeks companionship, and values intimacy. These weren't emotionless robots detached from humanity. They were fully engaged human beings who felt everything. The Stoics taught that you should feel your emotions completely, experience them, understand them. Then choose your response wisely. Not repress the feeling, not pretend it doesn't exist. Feel it fully and then decide how to act. This is what modern cognitive behavioral therapy is actually based on. Acknowledge the thought, examine it, choose your response. CBT works because it's built on real Stoic principles, not the bastardized modern version. Studies show that men who engage with actual Stoic texts see a 13% increase in psychological resilience. Not the Instagram quote version, the real philosophy from the original sources. Because real Stoicism teaches emotional wisdom, not emotional suppression. It's about managing your responses, not repressing your humanity. The difference is everything. The strongest men aren't the ones who feel nothing, they're the ones who feel everything and remain virtuous anyway. Stoicism isn't the problem, the modern distortion is the problem. If you're using it to suppress your feelings, you're doing it completely wrong. If you're using it to justify isolation and emotional unavailability, you're hurting yourself and everyone around you. If you're using it as an excuse to disengage from problems that matter, you've missed the entire point. Real Stoicism is about feeling everything, responding wisely, and staying deeply connected to your community and values. Marcus Aurelius felt grief when his children died. He didn't suppress it or pretend he was above it. He processed it and continued leading with wisdom. Epictetus talked about the importance of emotional bonds and caring deeply about others. Seneca wrote that the wise person cultivates friendships and emotional intimacy because isolation is contrary to human nature. They were vulnerable, they were connected, they were fully human. And that's what made them wise. Stop using philosophy as armor against being human. You're not supposed to become invulnerable. You're supposed to become wise. Wisdom includes understanding your emotions, expressing them appropriately, maintaining deep relationships, and engaging with the world even when outcomes aren't guaranteed. The strongest men aren't the ones who've numbed themselves to everything. They're the ones who feel fear and act with courage anyway. Who feel sadness and still show up for others. Who experience anger and channel it toward justice instead of violence. If Stoicism is making you more isolated, more emotionally shut down, more disconnected from people and problems that matter, you're not practicing Stoicism. You're practicing emotional avoidance and calling it philosophy. Read the actual texts, not Instagram quotes, not modern interpretations filtered through toxic masculinity. Read Marcus Aurelius, read Epictetus, read Seneca. You'll find men who struggled, felt deeply, loved intensely, and chose wisdom in their responses. That's the path, not emotional death masquerading as strength.